Hello and welcome to Broadcast Show Live. We are here at BVE. We've been walking around the hall today, interviewing exhibitors. Now we are back at our stand. Now this is stand K10 if you're interested. So if you're going to be around the show over the next couple of days, why not come by and say hello. We have lots more happening today though in this show, so stay tuned. On today's show we have a great guest lineup. We have guests like Richard from Holdan talking about PTZ cameras, I'll try and say that right. Steffan of course from Polecam will be on the show, and we'll be chatting with Patrick from Blackmagic. We've been streaming live from BVE all day, and if you have any questions then please tweet us. You can get us at Broadcast Show on Twitter. We are constantly monitoring it, and little people will talk in my ear and ask me to ask questions to the guests if you tweet them. We're here for the next few days on stand K10. I'll say it again, that's K10. So feel free to come and pay a visit. Now, at the beginning of each of the shows over the next couple of days, we're going to be catching up on a little bit of news from BVE. Today is day one of BVE, and I have Will Strauss with me. Hello, Will.
Hello.
Now, you're on a mission to find out all there is to know from BVE. Yep. Day one. Yep. New venue for a start.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what, I mean, your thoughts first of all about the venue, and you know, it seems busy. What do you think?
Yeah, really busy. I mean, I was a bit apprehensive. Yep. It's a new venue. As a nation, us Brits, we're a bit stick in the mud, aren't we? We don't like change. Coming out to East London from West London, I think there's a nervousness that there wouldn't be quite the crowds. Yep. At 10:05, perhaps there weren't, because people were still trying to find their way here. But come 11 o'clock, it's really, really busy. I've been very surprised, actually, at how busy it's been this morning. It's a much bigger space, but it still feels busy. Excel itself is great, facilities are better. They pipe very strange music in the halls, which is a bit disconcerting. But generally speaking, it's great. It's a shame it's so far out east, but we're here, we're doing the best of it. It seems a good show.
I've certainly noticed the catering's much better here, much better. I have to say. So, what can we look forward to over the next 2 or 3 days here at BVE?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, I haven't been here that long this morning, so I haven't got a flavour really of the stands. But having done my research pre-show, I mean, there's two very distinct themes, isn't there? On one hand is 4K, what does it really mean, and if it's important, how do we tech up to make it happen? And the other side is everybody's favourite C word, the cloud. Every conversation I've heard today, at some stage, seems to have ended up with a conversation about cloud computing. Right. Negatively, positively, either way. So I think over the next couple of days we'll see a lot more things like that. And I think the good thing about this show, as opposed to, say, an NAB, an IBC, it's very practical. Everything you get at BVE is about hands-on, how it will work, how it actually affects you as a practitioner. I think that's the key about this show. It's not about blue sky, it's not about ideas, it's just actual hands-on stuff that works. Brilliant.
So you're going to be with us first thing on the show tomorrow and on Thursday, giving us hopefully an update of what you've seen the previous day and all the new releases, the new everything that's coming out.
Try to.
That'd be brilliant. So Will, thank you for now. Appreciate coming on. So Will is going to be walking the show and keeping us up to date with what's going on. Obviously, we're walking around as well over the next 3 days to interview people. And again, if you want to keep controlling where I go, especially when we walk around, make sure you tweet us at Broadcast Show, and we'll do that. Now we're going to get on our first guest. So I believe we've got Paddy coming on. So we're just going to do a guest swap over here. We we are streaming from obviously the middle of a live show. There are lots of people around us. Hopefully sound-wise is okay. If there are things, again, let us know via Twitter, and we'll see if we can sort things out. But we're kind of learning as we go along here, so we'll speak nice and loud to try and keep our voices over the top of the ambient sound. In the meantime, we're going to talk to Paddy. Hi, Paddy.
Hi, John. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Now, we had a little brief chat again this morning when we started off, but obviously the people have tuned in on the show. And if they don't know, we are running everything through the Autocue system.
Yes, absolutely.
And for those who don't know, tell us what this Autocue system is all about that we've got here.
So basically, we've been doing obviously teleprompting for almost 60 years now. And from that, we've developed a newsroom system and automation and distant playout servers and asset management and everything you need for a complete sort of studio production, live and pre-recorded content system. And what we've done more recently is produce a new product, which is what we're using here, which is the Autocue Production Suite. And that is essentially a concentration of all of those systems. So it does your newsroom, your scripting, it's got your teleprompting output, it's got your automation, it's got your schedules, it's got your graphics, it's also got your audio mixing and your vision mixing built into it. So it's essentially the same box for live shows like this, as you can then use for playout. So if you've got a small channel where you're doing live shows like this mixed with pre-recorded content, it's the same box, just using different software. So one single system that basically does everything. And essentially it's building on our kind of newsroom and scripting capabilities. So, you know, we've got this new local TV initiative coming through. There's a big small channel market in the US and other countries where they're looking for cost-effective newsroom systems, you know, collaborative scripting systems where multiple users can work together, write news stories, write scripts, perhaps locally on a network or through a web browser or on a tablet or something. And this is just an extension of that. It's basically providing a single vendor solution to all of the live and pre-recorded production needs that you might have for a TV channel.
And it really is. I mean, considering the amount of power that we've got here and what we can do, I mean, it's a system this sort of big, and with some monitors and screens, and you can everything you mentioned, you can do out of the box on this thing, can't you?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, you guys have got a pretty big system. I think we've got a 14-channel system running here. I mean, the base unit starts at sort of 6 channels, expands from there, and a 6-channel system would fit into 5 or 6 units. And that comes, you know, in a sort of hard, tough case. So it's a ready-to-roll system, and then obviously over time, if you need to expand the system, you can add more to it. If you have more clients, you know, users, they're simple software clients that can extend to it. And I say it's very much an extension of what we're doing. We're very much about building blocks. Each of these components, whether it's the video servers or the newsroom or the teleprompters, can be bought as isolated products. But what we're really about is saying, right, if you want a scripting system, all you can afford now is scripting and teleprompting, great. Nothing to stop you in a few years' time or a few months' time, when your budget allows, coming in and upgrading that to a newsroom system. Taking the basic functionality of the APS and adding newsroom to that. From the scripting system, we're adding more channels or more advanced, you know, transmission capability. It's all about building a system that meets the customer's budget, as closely meets the workflow as possible, but giving them that future path, so they're not buying into a cul-de-sac, they've got somewhere to go.
Now you're obviously sharing stand space with us today, so your system's here. People can come and talk to you guys about all the Autocue products, obviously, especially the production suite, which is currently, you can see on the monitors at the moment. There it is.
The Polecam.
There it is with the Polecam. We love the Polecam. The Polecam seems to be everywhere in the show so far. And so if people want to come and see you, they can come here over the next few shows and have a look. What can people do to find out some more information is after the show? They want to look at want to see what's going on.
Absolutely. So I guess the first point of call is the website. We've got www.autocue.com. You can always email us at sales@autocue.com as well. And also on the website, you'll see a load of data sheets on our newsroom products and our scripting products, video shows, the whole sort of setup there. We've also got a YouTube channel. It's worth searching out on YouTube. Autocue QTV. QTV is our US business. And on there, we've got a series of videos that take you through the different workflows that we enable on the APS, on the newsroom, on the video servers. And that's a really great starting point, because that gives customers a chance to go and see the product. Equally, you know, this is fantastic for us, because here we're, you know, I say it's like the play within a play within. And you're here seeing us use the product actually in anger for a real broadcast. demonstration we could do, because you're seeing it being used. So yeah, if anyone's around at the show over the next 3 days, come see it being used properly and understand that this is a real system that you can buy and use today.
Excellent, Paddy. Well, thank you very much for coming on. The system's been working great, and we've been very impressed with it. It's been an absolutely amazing system. Again, thank you once again, Paddy, for coming on and talking about it. Thank you. Right, so that's Paddy from Autocue. We've been using their system now, I think since broadcast show started, and it's just been evolving, and it's been absolutely superb. We are waiting for our next guest to come on. We've got monitors all the way around me here, and we've got this, we'll talk about it a bit later, but we've got this nice bank of Marshall monitors up here, and I kept thinking that this was getting our program out feed, but it's only getting the Polecam feed. And so I was thinking they've gone really heavy on the Polecam shots, but no, it's not just the Polecam. It is, we are switching cameras, which is what the Autocue system does very well indeed. Right. We are going to talk about, thank you. We are going to talk about PTZ cameras, and with me, getting himself ready, is our friend Richard Payne from Holdan. Hi Richard, good to see you.
Nice to see you too.
PTZ cameras. For a start, better explain, if people don't know, what are PTZ cameras?
PTZ cameras are robotic cameras. I think that'd be another way of looking at it. It stands for pan, tilt and zoom. So you can remote control it. So rather than actually physically moving it yourself, there are servos to pan, tilt and zoom the camera.
Okay. So how do you control a PT zoom camera? I'm assuming
the ones I mainly talk about are the Panasonic PTZ range, and they're controlled either from an iPad app or from a controller. There's an RP50, and in fact here at the show there's an RP120 controller, which is a much more sophisticated one. I'll tell you the differences if you ask.
I will.
And so you either have a joystick control to move it, and multiple presets, so you can set a beginning and end position, and the camera will follow each preset as you press it, or you can use a joystick to move it live to follow action, for instance, or you can use an iPad app and touch left, right, up, down, zoom in and out, and it will do exactly the same thing. Or you can use a laptop, PC or Mac to control it through a browser-based interface. So lots of ways.
So, by the nature, what sort of size are we talking about? Are these? Well,
an HE60, we're talking. I should have brought one with me. An HE60 is about this tall. Weighs about 1.5 kgs. And the HE120, which is a broadcast quality BTZ camera, a little bit bigger, weighs about 3.5 kgs. Also here for the first time we have the HE2 PTZ camera. Although not strictly a PTZ camera because it's a fixed head, it actually does its pan, tilting and zooming within a large CMOS strip as a half-inch CMOS strip. So it does a digital pan, tilt and zoom. So it's much lower cost. So they're about £700 or so. Or
so that's capturing more information than it's actually showing, and you can move around within the frame.
Exactly. So you can either use it to give you a nice wide image of a whole room, or you can zoom in, and you can have 9 presets built into that. So you could have 9 people picked out in closer detail. But of course, because it's using a digital zoom, the quality won't be as good as using a physical pan tilt zoom where you're physically moving the camera, zooming with the lens.
So, while you mentioned the word quality, what sort of quality can we expect to get from these cameras? You know, compared to a standard broadcast camera, things are they up there with it?
It obviously depends. I mean, if you're comparing it with Sony cameras, I must be careful. If you're comparing it with the Panasonic range of cameras, the HE120 actually has the same lens and the same sensor as the broadcast-approved HPX 250. So you're getting a very high-quality third-inch mechanism with free MOS imaging, so very good low-light performance, very good noise reduction, and a 20x zoom. So the HE120 in particular is a really high-quality camcorder. The HE60 is new, and it's a single chip, so the low-light performance not quite as good as the HE120, but it's got a rather unique trick where you can take out the infrared filter and then use an infrared light, so it can shoot in zero light. So if you're using infrared light, of course. So we can shoot in dark rooms. They're using it as a current production using these. I think it's called the Valleys, sort of Welsh Big Brother, where they can now shoot nobody's safe, not even with the lights out.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I'm really sorry about this new technology.
Yeah, look forward to watching that one.
So obviously the low light abilities, you'd have to use an infrared light to get that. But they are, because you also need to pay for the robotic mechanism, the servos, the pan-tilt zoom. You will get a little less than you'll get for the same price as a standard camcorder. But also don't forget you need something to record the images on. These are not camcorders. They have an SDI feed or an HDMI feed out. So you'd need a separate recording device. But to put it in perspective, an HPX 255 is about $4.5–5 grand or so.
Sure.
It's about 7,000 for the HE120, but similar PTZ camera in terms of image quality.
But if you needed an environment where you needed, say, multiple cameras in different spots covering different things, and you can't put an operator on every camera and things, that's where they come into their own.
Where they come to. Self-op studios as well. We could get rid of all the dozens of people you have working here, and we could be just using a remote control under the desk here to control whichever camera you wanted to. And one camera controller can control up to 100 Panasonic IP control cameras. And also you can have several camera controllers on a network. So we could be controlling it here, but when the producer comes back from lunch, they could take over control.
It's quite an impressive piece of kit. So you've got those currently at your stand at the moment?
That's right. Yeah, come and have a look. We've also been a bit clever.
Oh, good.
If I say so myself. We've made one remote control.
Oh, okay.
So we have a remote control camera with wireless remote control.
Okay.
So you could literally go and dump this camera on a cliff edge, up a tree, wherever you like, control it wirelessly, and send the pictures back wirelessly. So brilliant. A totally remote camera. So the sort of uses for this, obviously, to put a proper cameraman at some high point of view position, you need scaffolding, advice from health and safety and risk assessments right, left and centre. But if you just put our unit, it's actually powered by a V-lock battery, and the power out of our Intratec Bridge Duo Wi-Fi sender powers the camera as well.
Oh, okay.
So the whole unit is self-powering from a V-lock battery and wirelessly controlled by an operator, either using an iPad or an RP50 joystick control unit. And the pictures are sent back using a Teradek unit.
Okay.
Teradek short or Teradek bolt.
Now, you just reminded me earlier, you said about being able to see in the dark. Did I hear a rumour that there's some additions to other Panasonic cameras where we can...
And you're thinking of...
What am I thinking of?
You're thinking of the HE60, which has this infrared.
Okay, that's that one that I heard about. So that's the one that is your pan tilt zoom head.
That's the
that we can take the infrared.
See in the dark. Yeah, the carrot eating pan tilt zoom.
Gotcha.
That's right.
So you're here at the show, obviously, for the full length of the show. This is going out live, and we're in London. Lots of people watching, probably hopefully going to come down. Where can they find you in the show?
On the Holdan stand. We're right in the centre of the show floor. I wish I could run a stand number.
That's okay, because there's an app for that.
There is an app. Goodness for that. But you can't miss us, because I'm spreading myself thin between the Blackmagic, the Holdan, and the Panasonic, which are three stands right in the middle of the show floor. And you'll find me by looking at the tired guy who can't talk anymore by the end of this.
Brilliant. So we can send people to you anytime we want.
Please do. Anybody who wants to know anything about the PTZ cameras, about the wireless video sending, any of the data vision, Blackmagic, Panasonic things, just come and find me.
And if they can't get here, what's the website?
www.holdan.co.uk.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Richard. Much appreciate you coming in. I'll pop over and have a look at those cameras later on and have a little play with the joystick. Brilliant. Thank you. That's Richard, everybody. Right, so I'm going to warble about a bit, and what I'm also going to do is send a little message to my control guys asking if it's possible on this lovely bank of Marshall monitors to have the program feed rather than the Polecam, if at some point that would be great. So talking about Polecam, we've got Steffan, who's running across any minute now. He tried to attack me earlier with a Polecam himself. And is he coming round here? We're looking for him. We're waiting for... Okay, understood. So we're getting... Possibly we have a lot of issues with noise. Okay. So I'm going to try a hand mic, and we're going to see if this sounds any better. So we'll have a little listen, see if that sounds better. Any better? It's a whole new ball game of better. So we're going to use a hand mic. So what we're going to do, because Steffan, who's going to sneak in a minute, is very loud, and he may not need it, but if he does, we'll pass him this hand mic. Come on, Steffan, we're waiting.
Morning.
Morning. Good to see you, sir. We're very good.
Good to see you.
And you.
Fantastic.
Right, I'm using this because for some reason there seems to be a lot of background noise. You probably think we're in a show or something with. So I may be pointing this mic at you as well.
Okay.
Now you're coming on 2 shows.
I am indeed, sir. I am indeed. I'm going to come and talk about Vietnamese racing whippets, Polecams, and the new Z10 zoom lens.
Excellent. And today, what are we talking about?
What would you like to talk about?
Let's talk about Polecams first.
Yeah, let's do that.
We got one flying around, which is being flown by the Mr. John Gillen over there, who's a bit of an experienced Polecam man.
He is indeed. He's one of our top guys. Actually.
He is indeed.
Yeah, so we're very lucky and honoured to have him here. What we've built for you here is a standard Polecam, but we've put what I would call a more student-friendly head and camera system on here. We're using the camera core camera, which gives us the zoom, which is something that you need, but we have the capability to go full auto iris and focus, and we've also now got a fully slip-ringed head. So it means you've got full 360 capability. So it's very user-friendly for your students and things like this, but actually where it's been really going in is on the rock and roll tour. Muse and Coldplay are currently touring with a Polecam with this camera, because for the diving off the stage, over the crowd, the spinning 360s, they love it. Kings of Leon have been touring with it as well. In fact, Caleb is actually, it's his camera.
Oh, okay.
It is only allowed to work with him. If you want to shoot the rest of the band, you have to shoot with him in the foreground and everyone else in the background.
He loves the camera that much, it's purely for him.
Well, you know, why not?
Absolutely.
Why not indeed?
So we can see John currently using the Polecam as we speak. Now this is, how many poles have we got on this one?
This will be a 5-section, which gives us a reach of 20 feet. We've also demonstrated the wire strut system on here. At this length, with this weight of head, it is by no means essential, but it does add that bit more confidence. And as I said, with the rock and roll boys, they tend to be throwing it around a lot more. So they're really excited about having this, because as a wire strut system as well, it's very, very low profile. So on the wide shots, it disappears. But the other thing is, one wire fits all sizes. So unlike on other jibs, every time you change the length, you've got to change every single cable. We just adjust by tightening or loosening. And it makes it so much easier. And it's actually added a whole new lease of life, because with the bigger heads as well, I was in Barcelona last week shooting the Red Bull test with a C300. With a follow focus unit. To have the wire strut on there gives that little bit more stability, that little bit more confidence that people are looking for as well, especially when a car is going underneath it at 200 miles an hour, just 6 inches away. So it's been great, it's been really exciting.
And so you say this is 5 sections, we can go up to what?
We can go up to 7 sections, which we call Seventh Heaven, which gives us 26-foot reach, and that's demonstrated on the Polecam stand, G16, with a Toshiba camera and the Z10 zoom lens on there, which we'll come and talk about tomorrow. But that's working really, really nicely. It's been a long journey to get that lens here, and it's opening up a whole new domain for us. But you know, the Polecam itself now, whether it be the format we've got here or with the Toshiba or the C300s, we're seeing a real, genuine interest now in this low-cost, easy-to-use, rapid-to-deploy system. And you yourself, as a cinematographer, have been using it and know the benefits and advantages of it. So we're really pleased with the development here. And, the show so far, I was a little concerned about being here at Excel because, a lot of people are like, oh, God, East End, but, so far so good. I think at the end of the day, it's the UK show. Yep. And if you're interested in equipment, whether it be buying or selling or learning what's out there, you've got to come to somewhere, and it is the place. And having live shows like this with yourselves makes a massive difference as well, because people are not just seeing the prettiness of it on their own stand, they're actually seeing equipment used aggressively, whether it be monitors or autocues or mixing desks or tripods. It all goes to show, and people gain confidence in that, and if they can grab hold of it, and then also see it being used. It makes a massive difference. So I think it's really important.
Yeah. So this is obviously the UK show. Next one I'm going to ask, as you hear, NAB's coming up. Will you be there?
Of course I'll be at NAB, but before that I'll be at CabSat. So I'm home this weekend, and then I've got a week, and then it's off to Dubai for the CabSat show, and then it's back, and then I think I have another feature film to go and shoot. Every now and again I allow myself a little busman's holiday. So last time it was a 3D horror movie, and from what I've been told, the same script writer is doing a love story, which I'm not really sure is my bag, but you know, I'll risk it for a biscuit.
You never know.
You never know.
Steffan, always good to talk to you. Thank you very much. We're talking tomorrow again about the cameras, so look forward to it then. Brilliant. Thanks very much, Steffan.
Very much.
Take care, mate.
Thanks a lot.
Take care.
Great
Bye-bye.
show.
Thank you. So we're always nice to get Steffan on and have a little chat about his, I'm not going to say it, about his Polecam. And now that I have my program up there, I can actually see what's going on up those monitors. And normally I have just like little one monitor, but we've got a whole set of monitors, and I'm going to get up and we're going to go and have a chat with Stuart from, hold a second, I'm moving across. Right, Stuart from Cash Media, hiya.
Hi.
Good to see you. Right, I'm not sure whether Stuart's mic is up or are we using the hand mic at the moment. We're going to use we're using the hand mic only. We've got a whole bank of monitors. Yep. Marshall are fairly well for their monitors. And can you tell us a little bit about this? They're switching it over now because they don't get us looking back at us. Tell us a bit about the range of monitors, because we've got on-camera monitors. I've got some monitors down there I'm using. We've got one on the Polecam as well. Give us a little overview of the range of monitors you've got here.
Great, thanks very much. Well, let's start off just telling you a little bit about Cash Media. Cash Media, we're a distributor for monitors, for servers, for live streaming, and also for transcoding. At the show today, we're majoring on the dual 10-inch. Right. So it's the 3G, it's the, as far as we know, it's the world's only 4U dual 10-inch with built-in IMD. IMD negates the need for having a UMD, so therefore it saves an enormous amount of space. Right. And also they're very, very easy to rack, so it means that you can actually build up a whole monitor wall. And the other nice feature of them is that the menus and everything, just as you can bring the monitor forward, you can just get in and touch any of the buttons. But what's also nice is we do what's called a network control box. So it's a web interface, and basically you can then address each monitor or indeed the whole stack. So we find that, particularly in transmission areas and OB areas, say in transmission, where they're suddenly needing to add more channels, they want a cost-effective way of monitoring that. So it's easy to buy just one dual 10 and generally build it up. And obviously, for the OB market, where space and weight is important, they're very, very popular there, and also in studios. Very good viewing angle and everything else about them. And as I mentioned earlier, 3G is now available on that one. Moving to the top here, so the whole range of IMD it starts at 6.5 inch and it goes all the way up to 26 inch. The IMD functionality can be set up in two ways, either on each monitor individually, where you can, there's a thing called a roto menu, and you can set it up and you can have a static display. But indeed, the way that most people work is with a TSL tallyman. So we have TSL protocol, so the idea is it dynamically follows the camera around, and it's also very, very, very quick at updating. And the other nice thing about this whole range is that Marshall is a US company, but they actually had their R&D engineers over here to design this, and particularly the 10-inch, that was very much a UK design, because frankly speaking, the UK is probably, and Ireland actually, is probably the toughest markets in the world to sell monitors into. So elsewhere in the range, so this is a 17-inch native. We do another one of this, which is a 17-inch quad. Right. Now that's particularly useful in again, outside broadcast vehicles, where they'll have one of the channels connected to an EVS, so that they'll be able to monitor 3 and then see 1, and again, complete flexibility because you can switch it over to DVI at any stage. Over there, that's a 20-inch IMD, yep. So lower resolution than the 17, but the same functionality in terms of the IMD scope. And then over here, This is a 20-inch MD. MD stands for modular design. So modular design means, as standard, it comes with composite, and then you plug in a module, whether that be a 3G module or an HDMI or DVI or whatever. So the range, as I said, starts at 6.5 inch and goes all the way up to 26, and there's lots of derivatives in between.
Brilliant. So obviously, there's these monitors here. We've got some. We've got monitors here that we've been using for the.
Yes.
I've been using for my feedback monitors to get an idea of what's going on program out, and some on the cameras as well. Now, if we can get let's have a walk over here. We're going to test our cameraman and his flexibility to be able to move at the moment. Let's see. If we come around here. Oh, we just lost one camera. So we'll go to the Polecam. There we go. So we've got this monitor here.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be difficult to see at the moment, but we'll try and get around when this camera comes online. Okay. But we've got these are the 7-inch monitors, and they come with a stand as well. Let's just pull this off, because I think these are really neat, and I want to make sure people can see them. How are we doing on the camera? We got a camera yet? Do we have camera? We're just checking to see if we've got a camera. You got it on Polecam. Okay, so these monitors here we can see on Polecam. So these are designed for desktop use?
No, well, interesting. That's a very good question, Don, actually. They started life as field monitors, and we sell a huge number of them as field monitors because they're high resolution, they're very bright, they've got a built-in waveform. And what people said to us is, that's great, but we've also got a requirement for having them as desktop stands. And it started initially at the Olympics, and it's grown after that.
Right.
So now we're again, this is new for the show because we specifically have bought some new things here. So it's the first time we're showing this in desktop form. And we've had some really, really positive comments. As you can see, the waveform and particularly the audio, I think commentators particularly find that very useful as a confidence monitor for showing what's there. I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but it shows that we're live.
The camera 4 can pop round. I'm just going to...
So in the sorry, John.
Go.
So in the same range, this one is a 7-inch.
Yep.
And there's also a 5.6, and there's also a 9-inch, which I mentioned in Manchester. But the 7-inch, particularly for this application of desktop, is very, very popular.
Right. So I mean, I've noticed that we've got waveform on there at the moment, and we've got obviously audio level meters. What options do we get to view on this monitor? Do we have other options? Is it different types of waveform monitoring, example?
That's it for what most people want. Yeah. But what happens on here, it's a similar modular approach that we have on the bigger monitors, in that it comes as standard with HDMI, and then you plug in a 3G module or an output module that goes with it. So it gives you the full flexibility for being able to do lots of different jobs.
Brilliant. Stuart, that's great. It always shows it's live, doesn't it? Thank you very much.
Thanks, John.
We managed to see it. I believe you're coming on again. We're going to talk about some of the other areas of Cache Media.
Yes, we are. Thursday, we're going to talk about our new server range from a company called Hard Data, which is a production and playout server. I'll see you on Thursday.
Stuart, thank you very much. Thanks. We'll look forward to seeing you then. Right, I'm going to get myself back in position, put these monitors back so we can see what's going on. Now, audio, I'm hoping, is all okay at the moment. Where are we? Camera 2. There we go. And we're going to get some more people on, and we're going to start having a little chat about power in workstations. Now, if you do a lot of video editing or you're doing 3D graphics, things like that, you know you need power. And one of the companies that we do a lot with is Workstation Specialists. So we're going to get a couple of guys from PNY and another guy from Workstation Specialists, all going to come up any minute now, hopefully, and have a little chat about power and graphics cards, processing. We're going to move some chairs in. This is how relaxed we are. Let's do that. Let's move some chairs. Sorry. Okay. So we have Mike Leach. Hi, Mike.
How you doing?
Simon. Hi, Simon. And Alex. Hi, Alex. So what we're going to have to try and do here, have you guys got any kind of mics on? No. No, you haven't. Okay. So, yeah, that's true. That's true. Unfortunately, they missed that joke because you wouldn't have a mic up against you. Right, guys, we want to talk a little about, now, we know what workstation specialists do. You build high-end, high-quality PCs dedicated for sort of the broadcast industry, film broadcast industry.
We use Nvidia Quadro graphics from Alex, which are distributed in the UK via Simon at PNY.
Right, so I'm going to, we've got one mic here, so we're going to try and wing this way. Let's first of all talk about the graphics side of things. So we have a video editor who's got something like Premiere Pro, and he's editing footage and he wants to put a load of filters on it and he wants to do some color correction, things like that. And he puts it on his normal PC and it all grinds to a halt and he doesn't know why. You guys overcome this using...
Well, we've built a professional workstation to overcome the majority of problems, but one of the key components, if not the key component to that, is the use of Nvidia Quadro graphics. And items like the new K5000 that was launched just 3 or 4 months ago is a perfect platform for both PC and Mac users who want to obviously accelerate things like Mercury playback and GPU encoding tools from within Premiere Pro.
So I'm going to ask Alex, as you're here now, tell us a little bit about the Nvidia Quadro system. What is this system? You know, why can't I just put any graphics card into a machine? What's this Quadro system giving us? What's it got in it that takes away the processing of this graphics from the normal processor in a PC?
So I guess the key thing is that over the last couple of years, both Adobe's engineers, you talked about Adobe's engineers and our own engineers, have worked very closely together around the Mercury playback engine, which is one of the key features in Premiere Pro. And we have a programming language that's specifically written for Nvidia GPUs called CUDA. And Adobe have used CUDA to write a lot of the software that they have, so that it's getting every single bit of the goodness out of the GPU.
And what people will say, perhaps, why can't you just use the processor in your machine? You know, you've got this 16-core Intel processor in there. What's so great about a GPU for graphics as opposed to the processor? Why would they want to use something like the GPU?
So CPUs typically are built to do lots and lots of different things, all very well, but what graphics processing units do is that they're able to do specific tasks incredibly focused and incredibly well. So things like graphical performance or high computational algorithms done using CUDA are done, the chips are built specifically for that. They don't have to regulate how the OS works or various other things that a CPU has to do. So that's pretty much, CPU is more generalist, GPU is more focused and dedicated to specific tasks.
To put it in a really simple term, a CPU might have 8 cores, 16 cores. A GPU might have 1,500 cores, and these are CUDA cores. So if the program is wrote in CUDA, it can access all those cores, and hence why it can talk such big acceleration on the CUDA.
Talking 100x speed increase, not just 5 or 10. You can see 100x speed increase.
So in a way, it's a bit like if you put it to what we just had the Olympics, a bit of athletics. You got a decathlete who's quite good at all sorts of things. You compare it to somebody, a sprinter, and then you see, you're the Usain Bolt of graphics cards. As far, you just did that live on air, by the way. So, yeah, absolutely. So that's the difference. You guys are focused into one particular job, which is dealing with graphics processing and not having to worry about everything else, so you do it really, really well.
Correct, 100%. So, there are other applications that are also accelerated. Obviously, Adobe is one of our premium partners. We run a system called ISV certification, independent software vendor, which is basically where we work alongside the software vendors to create certified boards to work with their products. And when it's certified, basically it means that they give the rubber stamp of approval to say that this card will give the best performance in these applications. And we scale across the family of products from a basic Quadro 2000 all the way up to a Maximus 2.0 solution. And the performance scales as well. So the software partners are very, very key to our business. Of which there are quite a number at this event.
Avid, Sony, you name it, there's a supported product for it, and again, anything that on a scale of low end to high price, low performance, high performance. Again, the scale is linear between the two.
So obviously I know you guys build machines. As far as, can you put more than one card in a machine?
All our products support a maximum of 4 cards, dual slot cards, or we can do 7 single slot cards per workstation. So depending on the application you have, if it supports more than one GPU, which some do, then you can get linear performance increases by adding a second GPU, double the performance. It's as simple as that.
There's other options available as well. If you can, so we can include SDI cards for the broadcast, capture and broadcast. We also do sync cards for large multi-screen setups, so up to 16 screens, a video wall, all synchronized. So we have all of single workstation. So again, with it's a whole ecosystem is Quadro. With the software that goes with it, maybe Mosaic, which are our management software, and also the other accessory cards that go with it. So it's more than just a GPU graphics card. There's a bigger piece around it.
It's not just the accelerator, it's hardware, software, the middleware, the CUDA programming language, all the tools in between. So yeah, it makes it a full package.
So, I mean, I've been keeping an eye on this over the last sort of couple of years, and the speed at which these GPUs are now processing graphics is just astronomical, and it's really been increasing. Are we expecting this just to get faster and faster and faster over the years? Is the timing like it's just going to be amazing in the next year or so?
We're stand still, definitely, but as new technology always around the corner, we're always developing newer products. They've got new stuff in the pipeline, so just as the market demands, obviously the products can be delivered. So,
I mean, the key is we look at our new model, the K5000. That's just replaced the older Quadro 5000. In reality, it's probably minimum 3 times faster for the same price point. So when we do make the jumps, of which we've just made one, they are significant. They're not 5% increase, 10%. They're significant figures, and hence the real-world benefits to our users.
Sounds brilliant. Now, if people want to find out some more information about everything that you guys have been talking about, we know Workstation Specialists. You have a website. I'm going to test you on it now.
Workstationspecialist.com.
Excellent. PNY, do you have one?
PNY.eu.
And if you want to find out a little bit about, I'm guessing what the website is, Nvidia, where will I find that?
Nvidia.com.
Would you believe it? Nvidia.com.
Well, there is also another really good resource which is called GPUgenius.com, which is a great resource that really kind of helps you, because Nvidia obviously do a bunch of other things. They do chips in phones, we do gaming cards, we do other things as exactly about to. So for us, if you're really interested in GPU and what it can do for you, GPUgenius.com is a great resource.
Alex, thank you. Guys, thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate you dealing with the single microphone situation that we've got here. Hopefully people have learnt a bit and will know that they want to get themselves a decent workstation with a decent graphics card in it. They need to come and speak to you guys. And you are currently on your H21. So if you are coming to the show in the next few days, go and see them at H21. You've got some systems set up. Yeah, you can. They will blow you away with how fast they can process stuff. It's unbelievable. So guys, thank you very much all for coming on. Thank you very much. Cheers. Take care. Thank you. We use Workstation Specialist machines a lot. We're currently streaming through one as I speak. And let me just find out what's coming. Oh no, Mr. Stuart Ashton from Blackmagic. Come on in, my friend. I'm going to get a chair out of the way here.
Find your way through the...
Find your way, yeah. It sounds like some nature program, isn't it, when you're coming in?
My hand.
Yeah, all right, I'll shake your hand.
How are you doing? All right?
I'm good. Again, we're sharing a mic now because we found out that everybody's talking at these trade shows and it just gets picked up by all the other mics. So, Stuart, from Blackmagic, I think people have probably heard about you recently. We've got a 10-minute slot. Let's fill it with some good Blackmagic chat. I'm going to kick off straight away. We'll just get this over and done with. Where are we at with the Blackmagic cinema camera at the moment?
Well, I think the good thing about the cinema camera is that we've started to see a large number of these start to ship now. When we announced the products in April last year, we were really overwhelmed by the amount of people that started to put faith in the product before even seeing it. I think the feature set and what we were committing as part of our company philosophy, was really kind of taken on board. And the exciting thing was we saw thousands and thousands of these go on back order. What that meant for us is it put, obviously a lot of pressure on us to deliver something that we felt very strongly about. And what we've been doing is we've been working very hard over the last few months to deliver as many of those back out to the channel. So it's not a case of we're shipping onesies and twosies, we're shipping hundreds and hundreds now. We're taking a large chunk out of that back order. We've still got some way to go, but our expectancy is that by NAB time we'll seriously be in that back order and you know, getting those cameras in people's hands.
Brilliant, that's great, Stuart. Now I quickly looked past your stand, which is always busy as all. Every single show you can never quite get in there. There's like loads of people you have to fight your way through to see the products. Anything new, anything upgraded, anything updated that we can see here this next show?
Well, I think with obviously NAB around the corner, everybody's kind of holding back a little bit. And, you know, for us, this is the first time we've had a domestic event in London where we've been able to really show the stuff that we announced at IBC and NAB last year. So our focus has been very heavy on delivering that message and continuing the story from the last sort of 8 to 10 months. What we've seen at the show is you know, some very interesting people. There's a lot of people coming by who are looking at utilising our equipment in many different ways. So it's not the traditional side broadcast guys. It's a good mixture of the broadcast guys plus the enthusiasts plus the Pro AV users. And I think that, you know, it's very hard for us to pinpoint one or two particular products. What I would say is that everything seems to be well received, and we're getting asked a lot about the questions of the products we've not brought. But unfortunately, our booth is only big enough to put, you know, so many on.
What I have noticed is there's a big focus on 4K this year. Are Blackmagic moving into that sector?
I think 4K is a very interesting part of the market. I think that, you know, when you look at the way Ultra HDs now come into the forefront, you look at the screen manufacturers, LG, Samsung, Sony, they're all putting a lot of focus into 4K and into Ultra HD. We were at a show actually only last month in Amsterdam called ISE. It's big for the events market, big for sort of system integration. And everybody was talking about 4K. Everyone was talking about these beautiful large resolution screens. Now, obviously, we'd announced a few products last year. We announced the Decklink 4K Extreme. We announced the Ultra Studio 4K. We announced the HyperDeck Studio Pro. And that really kind of captured people's minds, and that was a direction where we wanted to go as a business. Like always, we try and remain at the forefront of technology, and we want to lead the way. We want bleeding edge technology. You know, we want to be the first people there in some ways. But you know, we're seeing what the screen companies are doing. We're seeing we're seeing the interest. And whilst I'd say that the delivery of it is not 100% there yet, the aspirations are, and where there's aspirations, there's opportunity.
Now, I think I've done quite a few jobs over the past couple of weeks, and I've always noticed that no matter where you go, no matter what systems they're using, there's at least one little Blackmagic box of tricks doing something somewhere. We've got them here converting things or routing things as well. I noticed that on your stand you have the small little Thunderbolt units. Yep. And I'm not entirely sure everybody knows about these yet, because I think they're amazing. Can you just go over what these little Thunderbolt units are that you've got?
Yeah, I mean, these are some small capture and playback devices. What we decided to do was take the technology of some of our larger capture and playback devices and actually scale those down to be more portable so that you could pop them into your pocket. So if you've not a chance to see them, I mean, check out the website or you know, come by the booth this week. They're basically the size of a cigarette packet, and they've got HDMI and SDI on, and they allow you to either record or monitor. Now, what that means is if you're in an environment like a hotel and you're editing, or you're in a remote location, you can take this small unit out. It's an Ultra Studio mini recorder or mini monitor, and you can basically take the SDI connection or the HDMI connection and plug that into, you know, your monitor in your hotel room. So what we're trying to do is think about the environments that people are working in, try to make things flexible so that people don't necessarily have to go out and spend thousands and thousands of pounds on something. Really create a product that's fit for one particular purpose, and that's where those two products really fit well.
Brilliant, Stuart, that's great. Now you have, as you say, you have a reasonable sized stand here with lots of people and lots of kit on it. So yeah, at the moment I've seen you've got Resolve there, you've got ATEM there, you've got your routers, obviously the small Thunderbolt devices. Which booth will they find you at? What's the booth number?
That's a good question. I don't know is the answer.
We'll find out. What we'll do, again, we'll plug the app. There's an app that you can get. I'll tell you what the booth number is. It's pretty much dead centre, isn't it?
If you follow us into the middle of the hall, we're basically with Holdan. Holdan are our distributor in the UK. They're the company that basically supply all the products out to our reseller channel. If you look for Holdan, look for Blackmagic, you can't really miss us. We're a giant wall as always, cream coloured, and you'll see a lot of guys dotted around all wearing black, and we'll all be happy to talk.
Stuart, thank you very much. If people can't get to the show in the next couple of days and want to find out more, what's your website?
Sure, it's www.blackmagicdesign.com.
Thank you very much, Stuart. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, we've got tomorrow and on Thursday somebody from Blackmagic coming down. Tomorrow, I think they're going to be talking about their Terran X's. It's going to be very interesting how they've used them, how they've used Blackmagic Kit to set up their own online channel effectively. Now, I don't know whether you actually ever saw our Pelicase tests, and last BVE North it was, we demoed the final chapter in the Pelicase tested to destruction, and a key part of the filming of the exploding Pelicase, actually, which if we could, we'll throw up now. The key part was, this is the Pelicase. You can see me any minute now is going to go bang. That was the end of a Pelicase. Now, a key part of this filming was we had a really nice octocopter flying around, and that was provided by Skypower. And this helicopter flew around. We almost saw the actual shot there. And we've got Rob here from Skypower. Hi, Rob.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very good. Now, again, I'm going to move in closer a bit so we can get this mic between us. We loved the octocopter shots. I think, first of all, you better tell people a bit about Skypower and obviously what an octocopter is, what it allows you to do.
Yeah, no problems. Well, I think as you saw briefly from the footage there, we get really good aerial shots, close action shots, although I don't think we wanted to get quite that close for your Pelibox explosion there. But essentially an octocopter is an 8-motored aircraft, very stable, GPS stabilized, with a gimbal underneath it that we can house up to around about sort of 3.5 kilograms of weight of camera on. It's a gyro stabilized gimbal as well, so very, very steady and works really well, really well.
I have to say, on some of the shots that you managed to get on that, I mean, the fact is, certain shots that you can't do with your regular helicopter, because you can get really low as well as really high, can't you?
Exactly. I mean, we can literally go from 2 inches from the ground up to 100 meters in height, fairly quickly as well. So if you're after sort of a very dynamic shot of very close, low-level stuff, all the way up to a sort of quite a high shot, then it's perfect for it. Absolutely perfect.
So obviously, you haven't just been shooting Pelicases being blown up. What have you been up to recently with it?
Well, actually, most recently, we've done a couple of bits and pieces. We did a lovely job with Casualty, looking down on one of their... They'd set up a bus which was upside down at the side of the road, and they wanted to get some aerial shots of this bus as a perspective from a sort of a helicopter point of view. So we've got some great shots of that. We've also done some bits and pieces quite recently. You might have seen us on Wild Things. Actually, that was last week. We're on Wild Things, getting some low-level bee action shots, so flying around like a bee, as well as a lot of development over the winter period as well. So, it's not, we don't just sit back and wait for the industry to take over. We actually look at what needs to be done, look at what we've done before, and try and develop what we already have into something much better for this year.
I suspect you get asked to do some quite unusual stuff every now and again. What sort of things do some people throw at you, say, can you do this?
We've had all sorts, from filming extremely high-level stuff, Northern Lights, can you go sort of up to 1 kilometre in height to catch the Northern Lights from Scotland, to an actual job we did last year, which was very exciting for Sony, who do PlayStations, asked us to photograph the whole of Brands Hatch. So we spent 2 days, and 22,000 shots later, photographing the whole of Brands Hatch, so they can put it all together with the computers and turn it into one of the new PlayStation games. So yeah, really varied stuff. Yeah, so it's good.
Excellent. Now, the one that the helicopter, or octocopter, that we had a small Canon camera on it, I think, at the time. What sort of size cameras can you go up to on one of these?
Yeah, as you saw, that was a Canon XF105. We like it, very small, very portable, but we can use anything up to C300s. Very nicely sits on our gimbal. It's been modified so we get the full 360 pan and tilt on it. We can look right down, we can pan all the way around. It's a dual operated system. So I fly the drone and my colleague actually works a gimbal underneath. So, you know, it's a dual operated system and even Red Epics as well can fit on. So, and I saw him earlier, the Blackmagic. Yes. We've had that on there as well. So, and that fits beautifully on there because it's nicely balanced, compact camera. Yeah, excellent.
Well, that's great. Now, if people want to find out more, and you know, they want to fly something around a set or outside somewhere, whereabouts can they find out some more information about you guys?
Yeah, no problems. Just give us a call. Just go on to skypower.co.uk. Give us a call. Either myself or one of my colleagues can talk you through exactly what you need, what is possible, whether it's in airspace, because obviously it's an airspace, we need to get a permission to fly, particularly around London and some of the more sensitive locations. Not a problem at all. We've got very good close links with the CAA, so that's absolutely fine. Give us a call and we'll talk through what you want. We'll come up and maybe do a site visit, something like that, and then you know, we'll just go from there.
Brilliant. And last question I got to see, anything new coming up in the next sort of 12 months from you guys?
Well, funny you should say that, actually. We've just developed a new, what we call Skyline system. So this is a point-to-point system. It runs on the same sort of principles as our octocopter. We've got radio control involved. However, it runs on a trolley on a line. So we've got 800 foot of usable line with a trolley all gyro stabilized on there, which we can fire off up to about 30 miles an hour. So any tracking shots, any shots through trees, which are a little bit more difficult for the octocopter, we can position, you know, really, really well this line through the trees and have this trolley race down the line with up to about sort of 5 kilograms of weight on it, all beautifully stabilized, looks fantastic.
Fantastic. And if people want to find that, that's all available on your website?
Yep, give us a call, Skypower, no problems.
Rob, thank you very much for coming on, much appreciated. Thank you. Thank you. Cheers. So that's Rob from Skypower. Well, there we go. They've helped us out a lot. Come on, my friend. And I'm just listening to my ear. Okay. Hi, John. Thank you for coming on. Good to see you. We're just going to have a little chat about, you know, maybe you want to buy some kit that we've been talking about today. Who knows? And we've got John Bartlett. Hello, John.
Hi. Nice to see you.
And you. You work for Fineline Media Finance?
Fineline Media Finance.
And
the oldest established media finance company in the industry.
So you help people purchase the kit we're talking about.
We do indeed.
So tell us a little bit about it, what the options for finance of you know, camera kit monitors, etc.
Yeah, fairly straightforward, really. If we were to liken it to buying a car, the options are basically either hire purchase or leasing. And in the main, that's the same value that we put. We look at the equipment itself, what the value of the equipment is. We look at the customer and evaluate credit-wise that their ability to service the needs of the contract. And roll on from there, really. So it may be a 2-year, 3-year, possibly even a 4-year transaction that we enter into. But very much geared towards the customer's needs, their ability to service the debt.
So obviously you get a lot of customers coming to you, always asking for various pieces of kit that they want and financing for this kit. What sort of trends are you seeing at the moment?
I'm certainly detecting more and more people are talking about 4K than previously. How long it will be before such time as it were, the in-home industry has the ability to benefit from it is another matter. But then arguably, perhaps we were saying that about 3D. But now it seems almost impossible to buy a new television that doesn't have 3D on it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But at this point in time, we still believe there's some major issues in workflow on 4K. So we'll see what happens with that.
So while I've got you here, I mean, obviously you've got great big production companies that walk around here, but you've got a lot of self-shooters, independent guys, worried about, oh, but everybody's going to get all this great kit and I can't afford it. You know, I don't have stacks of cash in the bank and massive credit ratings and things like that. Is that a big problem these days for getting finance?
All I would say is that Fineline built its reputation with freelance cameramen. And gradually, as time has gone on, some of those have formed their own companies, some of those have formed much, much larger companies. And we now deal and pride ourselves in dealing right the way through, from freelancers right the way through public companies to major corporations, international corporations as well.
And does it have to be new equipment? What about if there's second-hand?
Needn't be new equipment at all. But we're always looking at the value of the equipment on the day that we acquire it, and the likely value of the equipment in 12 or 24 months' time as well, so that we can measure our risk accordingly.
And if people are outside of the UK, or well, obviously people are living worldwide now, it's a small world, are you purely UK focused?
Purely UK at this point in time. We've had various looks into dealing in euro, but if we deal in euro, there's all kinds of legal issues as well. Ultimately, we're owned by NN Rothschilds, the merchant bank, who are renowned worldwide for their inability to enter into a severe risk. So that's always going to temper the way that we look at what we do. That having said, of course, I've already said that we look first and foremost at the equipment. If we're happy with the equipment, then we can start to move forward to the next stages.
So the difference between coming to somebody like yourself and, let's say, going to your local bank manager and asking for money, what's the benefit of going to somebody like yourself for this sort of financing?
We know and understand the equipment. We know the industry, and we know and understand the equipment. That's the benefit.
And if people have heard this, they want to find out a little bit more about you guys and how they can contact you and talk about getting some finance to buy all this lovely kit that we're talking about in the rest of the show, where can they find you? Well,
you can find us on stand G58, or you can find us on the website, which is www.fineline.co.uk.
So you're here for the rest of the show? G58?
G58.
Brilliant. John, thank you very much for coming on. And it's always good to have, we talk about this equipment and everybody goes, oh, but I can't afford to buy this sort of thing. They're just talking about it all the time and I want it. So you're the person to talk to about this.
Well, I think so.
John, thank you very, very much. Thank you very much for popping in. So that's John. G58, you'll find them. If you're looking to purchase some kit, then he might be the man you need to speak to. Now, we're just going to talk a little bit about how we get our signal out of here. Currently from here we've got a lease line, but normally we go to a lot of places where we don't have a decent internet connection. And that is where we got to start thinking about how do we get our live stream to the world. Now, it used to be that you'd think, oh, we can't do anything, or you have to get an expensive line put in. But nowadays, there's a satellite solution, KA-SAT, and we've been using that for a while, and we've got the man behind the system that we use here. Selwyn's here. Hi, Selwyn, good to see you. Now, obviously, we use your system for the normal broadcast show live. For those who don't know, let's first of all do a quick overview. Tell us a bit about Tariam and obviously the KA-SAT system that we use.
The domestic service, as you know, is called two-way direct. We sell a two-way service, which is giving up to 20 meg down, 6 meg up domestically in regions where there's no bandwidth. The professional side is Tariam, which is doing the broadcast. We did, as you know, we did the Bond film, we did parts of Warhorse, we're now doing Doc Martin, 30 broadcasters using our kit. BBC are actually over there as we speak. And we've been improving the service. Now the service which everyone's using now is NewsSpotter, which is giving us around about 10 meg down, up to 10 meg up, uncontended, 1-to-1. Behind it, which is new, we've got always on, so it's giving you contended, 2 down and up, 10 down, 2 up, and that's good for voice, talking to engineers. It's there in the background all the time when people need it. On top of that, we've got our PDN services, which are normal services, and they're going nomadic, rather like the two-way does on the NewsSpotter. So it means now you don't have to change spots. You can go anywhere in Europe with the nomadic PDN services and run them for your normal data services, or as others do, the broadcasters use it for their journalists and everything else where they don't want to do a broadcast. Right.
So I will. That's what. So we're talking about. You can get with your system. You can book some time, like on the site, or phone you up, book some time with the NewsSpotter service, for example, and get yourself this uncontended internet connection.
Absolutely, but that's being improved again. As of next month, you can book it yourself. We've built an interface between the satellite operations center and ourselves. So now that from flare going up to being online, 15 minutes, and you can do it yourself on your own laptop, book what you want up, what you want down, and off it goes. So you're completely autonomous as a broadcaster. We've been pestered for this for months and months and months. It's now active, so which is really, really good.
And cost-wise, compared to a normal, let's say,
if you're running KU, you could think 180, 300 pound an hour. With us, if you're running 3 meg, 50 odd pounds an hour, all the way up, depending. Worst case, 10 up, 10 down, as we did for the Bond. I think you interviewed Chris Beale on that. You're looking at probably a couple of £100 an hour, but that's 10 meg up. You can't even get that with KU. The other thing I want to talk to you about is this new toy here.
I did spot this. Tell us, yeah.
Now this is really interesting. It came into life really for military use, but it's now extended itself, because what happens is this is a tracker. Okay. It can have up to about 35 gig of memory. Okay. It can have an operating system on it, so you can plug it into any PC. It will take over that PC, use its own operating system, pull it out, and it leaves the PC as you found it. The data on it is encrypted or not encrypted. You can have part encrypted, part not encrypted. The encrypted data can be commercial encryption, all the way up to what we call IL levels through military levels of encryption. Even better, remotely, you can zap it. So if somebody takes it away from you, they didn't like the look of it, you just send it a text and it completely burns the chip. Finish. So if you're a newscaster working in difficult places and they take your camera equipment from you and it's backed up on here, you can remote it. You can through SMS, 3G, through 3G or 2G. You've got your GPS, so you know where this is within 5 meters. Actually less than that. And I've got on my laptop over there where I've been today, including when my phone failed this morning. It shows everywhere I've been today. Fantastic. So if you're a newscaster, you can take this with you, back up everything you've got, if it's important newscast. Take it with you. If even they take all your equipment away, it's encrypted anyway. And it knows where you are, it knows where it is, particularly if you get into trouble and someone takes you away. They know where you are within a couple of meters, and you've got all this information. Fantastic. And it's very interesting to people like the police, like guys operating in very difficult conditions.
So that's great.
Where we are.
Brilliant. Now you supply these then? You can supply these? And if people want to find out some information about this, which is quite impressive, and obviously all the systems, where should they find you?
Just selwyn.petterson at tariam.co.uk, or go on www.tariam.co.uk. As we advertise in your magazine, you'll see us there.
Excellent. And you are sitting on our stand with us as well, so just over there.
We're here, and of course we've actually brought our new broadcast equipment as well, which is the new tripod and everything else. The flyaway kits, we've got advance orders for about 30, and as I said earlier, BBC are actually on stand at the moment, and they are some of the first users.
Brilliant, Selwyn. Thank you once again for coming on. Much appreciated. No worries. Go and have a look. Where are we? Oh, we're up on the Polecam. Go and have a look at their website. So we use the satellite systems a lot, and they have been fantastic. Definitely worth having a butcher's at that site, and that 3D tracking USB stick thing looks quite amazing. I'll have to have a proper look at that later. Now, I've been handed a magazine. Oh, look at this. It's a magazine. And it's got a whole article in here all about Photon Beard. And would you believe it? Guess who's sitting next to me? It's Peter Daffarn from Photon Beard. Hi, Peter. Good to see you.
Hi.
Peter, we've got an article here. I've got a list of things that I'm going to ask you because there's so many different things I wanted to check in here. But obviously, first of all, tell us a little bit about Photon Beard, in case they don't know. They've probably lived on a different planet if they haven't heard of you. And then we're going to have a little chat about certainly this article and some things in here. Tell us a bit about Photon Beard first.
Sure. Okay, well, Photon Beard is possibly the oldest lighting company in the world. I think we're 131 years old this year. 1882 we were founded. Back in those days it was gas lighting and that sort of thing. Nowadays we're into energy efficient lighting, mainly fluorescent. We played around with a lot of LED, but currently we don't believe that there's with a few notable exceptions, we don't believe that there is a good viable LED source. That will change in the future because things are changing all the time. But right at this moment, there isn't. So we're working on all sorts of things. We have been working on plasma lighting, which we've shown at a few trade shows. As with all new technology, there are some teething issues there, so that product isn't ready for market yet. But again, you know, give us, I don't know, 6 months, a year, maybe 2 months. Things are changing all the time.
Brilliant. And you've got a stand here at the show? We
have, yes. We're on G72 towards the back. We're sharing it with VFX Bristol Paints. So we have a working green screen solution on the stand, so you can come along and see our new space light, fluorescent space light in operation, which again is a fairly unique feature for the broadcast world, because for the first time now you can have a daylight balanced space light, which you haven't been able to do before. So for green screen solutions, that's an excellent product.
Brilliant, Peter. Now, obviously there's an article in the new TV Bay magazine about you guys. First of all, tell us a little bit about, you've done some installation work recently, I think. One is at the VNA?
Indeed, yeah. I mean, we do quite a lot of work for companies where the quality of the light is very important. They're not necessarily broadcasters, they're not producing images, but art restoration, and the VNA is for the Cloth Workers Centre. It's not a public area. It's where they do all the repairs on tapestries and such like. And the ladies sit in this big room and work on tapestries, sewing new bits in. And for them, the quality of the light is very important. They have to be sure that when they're looking at a particular green, for example, it really is green, and blues and that sort of thing. So that was quite a nice installation. We did that a few months ago, and we're told they're very pleased with it. We've had no complaints. So, yeah.
So obviously it's the quality of the light is the important part of, and certainly what you guys focus on with your lighting, that you are getting true colour light from this. Exactly what you expect is what you get.
Exactly. That's very much become our sort of mantra, if you like, that for us, we would much prefer if a customer comes along and says to us, this is what I want to do, what's the best way of doing it, rather than coming along and saying, I want a tungsten light, or I want an LED light. You know, you shouldn't be thinking about what light source you want. You should be thinking about the quality of the light, because that's the important part.
So whereabouts would people find, lighting? Like obviously you mentioned the VNA. Whereabouts would people see photon beard lighting?
We're actually used all over the world. Obviously, a lot in the broadcast world. BBC West 1, for example, have a lot of our lights. Phoenix TV in Hong Kong have a large selection of our lights. We have quite a lot of lights in China TV. We're currently supplying quite a lot of lights into Africa, Nigeria. So generally everywhere in the world, including recently a lot of sales in the US. We're told that most of the sort of US serials have some form of photon beard lighting on them. So we're actually, selling all over the world.
Secretly hidden everywhere. There's photon beard lighting in every corner, every studio somewhere around the world.
That's right.
Brilliant. Peter, thank you very much. If people want to come and find you again, whereabouts will they find you?
The stand number is G72, towards the back of the hall on one of the sort of edge aisles, or have a look on the website, www.photonbeard.com.
Peter, thank you very much. I'm going to pop down and have a look later for sure, but until then, much appreciated. Thank you much for coming on, Peter. Thank you. They always have some good lights down at Photon Beard. It's definitely worth having a look. Currently, our next guest is on his way, so we are going to try and grab them. I'll tell you what we're going to do in the meantime. We will have a little tour of this stand. Let's go nice and wide on our Polecam, shall we? Oh, look, this is going to be interesting. We've got a nice new Polecam operator. So, if we can go pull to some kind of wide shot, let's have a look. So we have 3 cameras here. We have 2 PMW 150s and a PNW BVE200, which is currently just about to be taken off of a pair of sticks. And flying up there, as Steffan mentioned, is a Polecam. And just to show you how easy a Polecam is, let's just walk over here. We have Heather operating our Polecam. You see, first time Polecam operator, Heather? First time? First time she's ever operated, and she's learning the ropes. And you know, you stick somebody on a big jib and they're going to struggle, but stick them on a Polecam and then get going. Let's walk around here if we can. So over here, we have our, obviously our production suite, which is done by Autocue, and they are doing all the switching. Mark is here, switching away. And lighting-wise, I better show this actually. This is our lovely audio desk, which is a Presonus 1642. This desk here is a work of genius, and you'll find them out on where were they? Source Distribution, which are that way if you're coming to the show. Go and ask them to demonstrate the 1642 desk. It's amazing. We're really testing the cameraman here. What we'll do is, so here's the Marshall monitors. Lighting have been all put together. Hopefully it's a little bit better than we did it last time. It should be a little bit better this time because Sewer Light came in and did all the lighting. So we've got Sewer Light lighting, some dado lights, 4 banks up here, and this is a celeb. This is checking the cameraman out here, and this is giving us our lighting. Jonathan Houston came and lit it for us and white balanced all the cameras, and hopefully you are getting a reasonably good picture from us. I can assure you that if the picture is not good, it's to do with us and nothing to do with Sewer Light, but because it looks lovely for us. So we're going to be checking to see where, there he is. Our next guest is here. We'll go and get ourselves in position. What we will try and sort out for the next show tomorrow is the audio, because currently if we use our little lavalier mics, there's far too much noise around here, so hence the reason we're using the hand mic. So we're going to go and get Ben in. So come on, Ben, come and sit in, mate. This is Ben Darby from Stream UK. Hiya, Ben, well done. Good to see you.
See you, good job.
Yeah, and you. We're working with one mic, so we're going to have to go backwards and forwards here for a moment. Now, I know who Stream UK is, and we use Stream UK. We're currently streaming through you guys at the moment. First of all, give us a little overview for people of what Stream UK do, what you offer your clients and things.
Well, essentially, Stream UK started in 2001 as a streaming services provider. And then over the last 12, 13 years, we've gone into lots of different areas involving online video, webcasting and streaming. And now Stream UK, as well as providing streaming services, we have our own production department, but we also offer 3 main products. One which is a media hub, which deals with user-generated content used by the BBC and The Guardian. So at times where there's lots of snow or some London riots, for instance, we see lots of usage, people with mobile devices sending content into the UK broadcasters. Another product is our online video platform, Stream MP, which is used by clients such as Liverpool Football Club as their primary online web TV service. It's also used by broadcasters such as you guys to obviously stream live content through, and also for content owners who want to publish their content, distribute it, and also make money from it in lots of respects. And the last product is Stream Connect, which is more of a corporate webcasting tool used by lots of corporate companies. You've got things like slide synchronization, where people can submit questions. It's got interactive interface. So those are 3 primary products, but like I said, we do lots of webcasting events for artists and companies all up and down the country.
So I've used a number of your services over the past 10 years myself. Obviously you are at sort of like the cutting edge of streaming, and you're always moving forward, trying to find out where people are going to next, what systems they need. Where are you finding the industry sort of moving now? Is online streaming, or is it increasing? Is there more people using things like your Stream MP service now? How's it progressing?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously the biggest change we've seen on the landscape is obviously mobile devices. And our biggest challenge is obviously making sure that our player and our streaming services are compatible with most of, and we say 95% of devices out there and different platforms. So just an example of this, last year we streamed McFly from Wembley Arena, which is a huge stadium, you know, with a 75,000 seating capacity, to something as small as an iPhone. And that was an app which McFly fans bought. So I mean, we're going for something huge production, but we're making sure that the streaming service and the actual platform is available on a device that small. So I mean, obviously that's been the big change. The iPad has been a huge thing in the last kind of 4 or 5 years. But the main thing really that we're seeing more of a demand of is brands wanting to align themselves with certain online video users. We're seeing a lot of demand also in YouTube channel management, which is obviously, although we've got our own video platform, YouTube's got its own community. So in the last kind of couple of years, we've been focusing a lot on kind of making them companions and actually using one another to benefit each other. So like I said, so that's an example of the social media aspect as well, integrating social media, using YouTube channel management, and also making sure that our online video platform is you know, technically advanced and it's having features all the time that make it compatible for today's audiences and content owners.
Ben, that's great. Now, if people want to find out more about Stream UK and the services that you offer, and obviously talk to you and get some advice about, you know, streaming, they want to set something up, how can they get hold of you guys?
Well, we'd recommend you tweet us at Stream UK, but you can also visit our website, www.streamuk.com. We've got headquarters in London, we've got now an office in Media City in Salford, and we've got offices in Europe, so we're available.
Ben, thank you very much. It's much appreciated. We've been using your system. We're much appreciative for it. It works fantastically, I have to say, and you say on all devices all of the time. So, Ben, thank you very much for coming on. That's much appreciated. Thank you much. So that's Ben Darby from Stream UK. They do our streaming for us, and it works very well. I'm seeing a famous regular face for us here coming in. Come on in, Graham. Now, we have a couple of three or four students from Ravensbourne here. And they may or may not recognise this man, depending on whether or not he's ever shown them how to use a camera at Ravensbourne College. That's Graham Reed. Hi, Graham. Good to see you.
Nice to be here. Thank you very much for. Nice. What a surprise.
It was a surprise. We've literally just. We've literally just dragged you in, haven't we?
You certainly have. Just dragged me in off the street almost.
So, have you? How long have you been at BVE today?
How long have I been here today? About 2-3 hours, if not a bit longer.
So you've had a good look round. So I can now throw questions at you.
I'm looking for a beer now. Where can I get a beer from?
Well, it depends if I let you go from here.
Right. Okay.
So you've had a look around. First time at Excel. First of all, what do you think?
First time at Excel, yeah. Bit of a longer journey than going to Olympia or Wales Court last year, but I mean it was easy enough to get to, so there wasn't any problem getting here really on the Jubilee line of the DLR. So it was,
I would argue it's only once a year, isn't it?
Well, it is only once a year, yeah, that's right, yeah. So it was no trouble at all getting here. It was very easy.
I mean, I've noticed the venue itself is. I mean, I love the actual. You know, the catering's great for a start.
Yeah, I mean the venue itself is much better than the old Earls Court venue, which was a bit worn out, wasn't it really? But yeah, so it's a great venue and a great place, and I've had a lovely time here. Met lots of friends and colleagues, and some students from Ravensbourne, so it's been really good. Yeah, I've met I have lots of chats about lighting and cameras, and of course the ARRI stand was particularly interesting. I particularly like the ARRI, and I particularly like the configuration they've got that makes it into a multi-camera situation with an OCP and a remote zoom and focus. So that was really interesting, the ARRI stand. And some of the lighting stands with all their LED lighting on is particularly interesting as well. And so it's been, as usual, as most years, it's been a really interesting, informative day, and I made a lot of interesting contacts, really.
Excellent. So you mentioned LED lighting, so I'm always intrigued by it. So as far as LED lighting, it's always progressing.
Yeah, some here.
No, we don't.
No, we haven't got any here. No, we haven't got any here. No.
So, no. So how do you feel, is LED lighting is it better than it was, let's say, 3 years ago?
Well, it's certainly improving, because now you have hard sources, whereas a few years ago you only had soft sources LED. Now you have hard sources LED, which is a step forward, and they're getting better all the time. still the cost is still a big issue with LED lighting, as they tend to be as an upfront cost more expensive to buy, whereas you can buy a typical tungsten light for 80 quid, the equivalent would be 800 quid in LED, in round figures. So the upfront cost is still high, but then of course the running costs are low, and if you're in a studio setup, you save on air conditioning and power. So in that sort of situation, LED is really are very good. And so LED are certainly coming better and also coming down in price. And I think in another couple of years it will be a case that LED lighting will be on par with traditional tungsten lighting sources. So I think almost a bit like tellies. Now you can't get typical CRT tellies. I think in a few years' time you won't be able to get a typical tungsten light sources. They're going to get phased out quite quickly, I think. And so LED certainly are very good now. And of course also the fact you can alter the colour temperature of them quite easily, and of course they're much more efficient, they're low heat. So a whole lot of advantages with LED lighting, minus the cost.
So you mentioned Darby, I'm going to have to quiz you now. Any other camera kit here, or cameras that have sort of like tweaked your interest?
Well, of course, the Sony F5 and F55 are very good cameras, and very interesting cameras. In fact, I'm going to a workshop next week about those two, and I saw them over here on the Sony stand. So they're particularly interesting cameras. I mean, again, the prices are different. I'm interested in what's the difference between them. They both look the same-ish, but for their different price points. So I'm interested in what the difference between an F5 and F55 is. I was disappointed. I didn't actually see the Sony new F65 here, which I saw, I think it was here last year, which is the top of the range, the bee's knees, all singing Sony camera, which I'd like to have a play with. And one day I might even get a budget to use one, which would be rather lovely if I could actually use an F65 for a production. That'd be nice. So, but certainly those cameras are very interesting. Of course, Panasonic has interesting cameras as well, particularly their little mini cams are very interesting, their little micro cam. Amazing pictures from those little mini cams. Yeah, really good. So generally, lots of interesting stuff, really.
Excellent, Graham. Well, we appreciate you coming on after just being grabbed you from the side, just as you were about to sit down, and then somebody you go and do that, Graham. It's great. Thank you very much for coming along, everybody. That's great. So that's Graham Reed. He's always worth talking to about cameras and things. He always has some opinion, and I'm just about to find out, because we are now getting guests thrown at me. It's gone completely out. So the next guest coming up, if he is ready. You've just literally made it in time. Good. I was about to. We're live, mate. We're live. So Peter, good to see you. Hiya. Hi. So Peter, you are from 4A. 4A, yes. And you are our final guest on the first show from BVE 2013. Absolutely. Now, if people don't know, tell us about 4A and what you're showing here at BVE.
First of all, 4A is a Japanese broadcast manufacturer. We've been in the industry for 42 years now. We've got a whole range of broadcast equipment. Sometimes we're known more for the sort of smaller bits, sort of time-based correctors and multi-viewers, which we still do. But what we're showing now is sort of state-of-the-art technology. We've got a whole range of products on our stand, including our latest HD, SD vision mixers. We have file-based products, which involve going from video to LTO5 in a painless manner, so we can go directly from video, have a wrapped MXF file with proxy, metadata, thumbnails, all in a wrapped package. It's just easy to do. We're also showing a couple of very interesting cameras. One's a low-light camera, which can give colour pictures with only 1 lux, which is like moonlight, effectively. So there's lots of applications, both in broadcast, for like natural history programmes shot at night, intimate scenes, shall we say, in Big Brother or whatever, some reality shows. And there's a whole wider range outside the broadcast market for security. And then another camera which is attracting a lot of interest is the FT1, which is a high-speed 4K camera. So that gives sort of stunning images at up to around 900 frames per second. So we have this at the show, and we're showing some really interesting footage from there.
And your stand, actually, I think is just literally down the road there, as they say.
It's down the road. You're going to ask me the stand number now, aren't you?
I was going to.
If you're going to ask me the end of K16, my final offer.
K16,
yes.
Or thereabouts.
Yeah, well, K16, I'm reasonably confident K16, yes.
So if people want to find out, obviously we're live now, people can still come to the show today, running out of time, but tomorrow and Thursday.
Yep, I'm here the whole show, no time off for good behaviour, yeah.
I know the feeling.
Right.
You're going to be showing, you're here, anything new going to be expecting later on in the year? Maybe at NAB?
Sorry?
Anything new later on in the year? Maybe something at NAB, or are you showing at NAB?
I can definitely we'll be showing something new at NAB.
We'll leave it at that. Is that what we're saying?
I don't know. I'm not going to say, but honestly don't know. But there will be new developments. Yep. There always are.
In the meantime, people can come and see you here on Wednesday and Thursday. Yep. If they want to find out some more information about 4A and obviously all the cameras and other kit that you supply, what's your website?
Website www.4-a.com.
Peter, thank you very much. I'm sorry we dragged you in again, but right at the end, but it's certainly worth catching you up with you then. Brilliant. Thank you very much, Peter. No problem.
Where's the floor
The
manager?
floor manager. I'm the floor manager. That way. No worries. Well, that's it. We're going to, this time we are going to call it. That's the end of the first live show from here at BVE 2013. Tomorrow we start again at 10 o'clock. I will be walking the floor, talking to people, all the way up until around about 1 o'clock. Then we have a quick break, and then the live show from this stand starts here again at 2 p.m. tomorrow. If you've got questions, if you've got things you want us to look at, then send us a tweet at Broadcast Show, and we will go and find those people. In the meantime, I would like to say goodbye and thank you for watching from here at BVE 2013.